3,000 different types of species of the nudibranch.
There's 3,000 different species?
Yes, 3,000 different types.
No, you're right, 30 centimeters. You're real close.
Nudibranchs live in shallow waters.
I noticed she's blue in color. Is that are they mostly that color?
They're all kinds of colors. See the blue dragon?
Blue dragon Nudibranch. That explains so much.
So your butt's on your head?
My butt's on my head, see?
Yes.
It's working its way up there. It looks beautiful.
It's like when it's 10 or 9.
Proud of your butt.
I'm proud of
I'm
myself.
sorry?
When it's 10 or 9, that when its butt comes on 10.
Okay, when they reach maturity,
Yes.
their butt comes all the way to their head. That's excellent. What made you choose this type of seed animal?
Miss Dolman showed me this animal.
Excellent.
And every day, mostly every day, they find out a new nudibranch about.
Okay, so they're constantly being rediscovered.
Yes.
Excellent.
And they mostly lay up to like 1,000 eggs.
So the female lays the eggs and then the male swims over and fertilizes them?
So, I mean, no, kind of. I don't really know. Really don't. Oh, they're the match? I can't say.
They're hermaphroditic?
Hermaphroditic.
Oh, okay, so they have the ability to create sexually within themselves and have the eggs fertilized automatically. Thank you so much. Do you have any other questions at this time? No. Okay, let's give it up one time for your presenter. Woo! Thank you. Now, everyone's going to, just like slugs, have a slime layer.
Yes.
This is fabulous.
What do you know
smelling.
about these tendrils?
My tendrils do.
They're tendrils, mostly. Their smell, taste, or any movement, mostly.
And they get movement and food towards them with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The new branch we have right now is the blue dragon. They have a slimy tail.
Wait, I want to see this. Where's your slimy trail?
The slimy tail is on their back of the foot.
Oh yeah.
When they get to 1 year or less,
Where do you live?
and all kinds of oceans, like the Red Ocean or the Pacific Ocean.
Did you talk about its predators at all yet?
Their predators are their own kind.
Isn't there something crazy about like people?
People eat them all the time.
Naked.
Hairy and often naked, and
Ronk is Greek for gills.
is straight for gills.
This episode of Wild Ocean series is a report of Sodwana Bay in South Africa. While it is fairly young for a coral reef, it is absolutely full of marine life in all its shapes and sizes. It is also very healthy thanks to its remoteness from any coastal cities. It is precisely 1,283 confirmed species of fish that live here. Today I'd like to focus on creatures that are usually neglected, but are equally as interesting as large reef inhabitants. Sea slugs are one of the most gratifying subjects for a filmmaker. There is another name for them, it's nudibranchs, which means naked gills. Their gills are uncovered and protrude out of their bodies in a form of hair-like organ at the back of most nudibranchs. Some are able to retract them in case of danger, but most have to rely on the fact that their eye-popping colors and patterns are generally considered poisonous amongst other inhabitants of the reef. Compared to other marine life, sea slugs are perfect actors, as they are in no rush to anywhere. On an average dive on the reef, it is almost guaranteed to find at least one. However, you have to look closely as they are generally tiny. While simply filming these almost still creatures is quite easy, finding them actually doing something interesting is another matter. The key to make it interesting is to find different and ever more colorful or bizarre species. Nudibranchs do not have eyes and use rhinophores, those two antennae pointing out of their heads, which house the senses of smell and touch. There is another branch of the family, Nudibranchs, that have no separate gills, but their whole body is covered with protrusions that combine all of life support features. I was lucky enough to spot a quite unusual and rare behavior for these animals. Two individuals of the biggest known species, crimson Spanish dancers, were locked together in a love embrace. Mating of nudibranchs is somewhat bizarre as they are hermaphrodites, meaning they have sexual organs of both sexes, but they cannot fertilize themselves, so they need a partner. These particular pair stayed in this position fertilizing one another for definitely longer than 24 hours, as I went back to the same place the next day to find them still there. Once the fertilization process is done, both of them will create an intricate ribbon-like mesh filled with their eggs that they firmly attach to the bottom of the reef. What is even more interesting is the fact that they were not entirely alone. Spanish dancers, as they are so big, are a perfect home for commensal shrimps living literally on the slug for most of their lives. Taking care of parasites as payment for lifetime rent. There's also another reef animal that resembles a sea slug. Thin as paper, marine flatworms occupy similar places as nudibranchs, but can sometimes be much more energetic. This creature has no body cavities or fully developed internal organs, and absorbs oxygen and nutrients by diffusion. On one dive, I had an encounter with a free-swimming flatworm, a rare and beautiful sight. The worm was definitely keen to be in the spotlight, as it swam towards my camera. It gave me a beautiful dance mid-water.